It's the 10th of June when we leave the Orkney Islands, and rather than sail one long passage overnight to the Outer Hebrides, we decide to make a couple of short stops to locks on the Scottish mainland. We are always on the lookout for fishing pots as we don't want to get them tangled in the propeller, but these ones in Loch Eriboll were definitely there to test us with their extra long lines. Fortunately, we arrived and departed without any issues. We always go for a wander when visiting a new place to see where else we could stay nearby should the weather change, but here only room for 3 visiting yachts or rafting. The scenery was starting to look very different since leaving Shetland and Orkney. Watching the birds on the water is always the clue to who we might see next. Stornoway was a great place to start our tour of the Outer Hebrides, and we enjoyed very much sharing stories with Asher and Mark, whose boat all tour of Down was next to us in the marina. Careful navigation is required negotiating the narrow passages into some of the locks, and certainly test your nerves getting that close to the rocks. but a beautiful sunset is always a nice reward. With some strong winds and rain forecast, we decided to move the next day to a bigger lock nearby. This would give us more swinging room on the anchor. We didn't want to be that close to all the rocks in Witch's Pool when the wind picked up. The weather might have been a bit gloomy as we approached the Shiant Islands, but being joined by a pod of dolphins always lifts your spirits. The weather wasn't very nice at all as we arrived into the bay at the Shiant Islands, but we were quickly distracted by the thousands of puffins and razorbills flying around us and in the water. Oh, and the noise! It was an experience for the senses, that's for sure. The weather quickly improved though, so it was time to get to shore and take a closer look. I just love watching the puffins. I could have sat there all day. birds weren't bothered by us at all, and at times flew by very close so we could hear them whoosh past us. The Shiant Islands isn't an easy place to be at anchor because of the strong tides, and certainly not where you want to be in the wrong wind direction, so the next day it was already time to move on. We were about to go under our first bridge of this trip, but it reminded us of all the bridges in Holland from last year. But apparently, according to Simon, this one was higher at 19 metres, but it felt very close to me with our air draft being just over 18 metres. Not surprisingly, Vayu needed a good hose off after our night at the Shiant Islands. We had a really friendly welcome from Captain Bob when we arrived at Scalpay Marina, and he told us about the hike to the lighthouse. So after a little walk around, of course, that's where we went. And the scenery was simply amazing. After the long walk to the lighthouse, we were greeted by a friendly face in the cafe, so we stopped for tea and cake and enjoyed the views. It was a lovely warm day as we left Scalpay, and we were soon in for another treat, a large pod of dolphins swam right past us. But where are we off to now? You'll need to watch our next video to find out, but it's a pretty special place.